How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at issue number 1 of Clear. This is written by Scott Snyder and put out by Dark Horse Comics. Scott Snyder, you guys probably know for a very famous Batman run. He also did things like American Vampire, a really good horror comic, Witches, and The Wake. That was pretty fun. So yeah, new Scott Snyder comic. I'll probably check it out. This is one of those Comixology originals. I think the deal was Scott Snyder started releasing digital comics. I think this started during the pandemic, and now that comic book shops are open again, a lot of them are getting physical releases. I think Night of the Ghoul was done this way, and I think the other one was We Have Demons. I'm not 100% sure how many they've done, but this is released the same way Night of the Ghoul was, where it's only, where is it, $4.99, but it's the first 2 issues, which make it $2.50 an issue. So yeah, it's double thick, it's got good quality paper. I can definitely appreciate that. This one is a tech noir. There's a guy in the future, and his wife has been murdered in this sort of big conspiracy thing, and he's got to go solve the case. Now, the interesting thing with this world is it's a world in a recession, and everybody's kind of depressed, and no one wants to live there anymore, and in turn, everybody has what's called veils, augmented reality that lets them live in any world they choose, zombie apocalypse, kids cartoon, whatever you want to see, you put on the veil and you change the world so that you're in your own sort of delusion. And it talks about, you know, the ideas of rejecting reality and stuff. And why I do appreciate a story that is about the dangers of technology, because we do see way too many people diving headfirst into this. And I always appreciate a good warning. The story's influence, it just was a little bit too on the nose. People are doing VR, people are doing AR, write a story about what if that took over the world. It's a little obvious, but also the inspiration in this book is super obvious as well. This is clearly Blade Runner as one half, and then like take VR from like say Ready Player One and the mixing styles of like say Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It's pretty clear where they got a lot of the ideas for the tone of this book. And that's the thing, is it's just a little too obvious for me. And other than that, though, it's not bad. I have to say, the second issue, I think it picks up a little bit when it talks about the Third World War and what caused that, and you get to see a little bit more in-depth look at this world, and it's not just, say, VR. So it's a little obvious, but when you get into the mystery and the conspiracy, it does get a bit better. But yeah, I don't think this is the best thing ever, but it's fine once it gets going, you know? And I think, like, a good example, this guy's helmet. He's got his motorcycle helmet. Luckily, he doesn't wear it all the time because he's a tough tech noir detective, but this is a little too pop and a little too big. It's one of those things, like, it's distinctive, but I don't know, it's kind of right on the edge of being a little too silly for me, and I think that's what a lot of this book is like. And also, one last thing I do want to mention is it's called Clear. Clear is a setting on your augmented reality where you can see the world as it is. You can see it clear, and he's like the only guy that sees the world in clear because most people don't use it. Which, okay, that makes him really different, and it lets us actually see the Blade Runner world instead of a weird cartoon one. But it also says that Clear cost money. Why why would Clear cost money? You think it would be free to turn it off, but it's not. I mean, what, once you have the implant in your head, you always have to pay no matter what setting it's on? Is that the case? Can you not unsubscribe? If you're gonna leave it on Clear, can you not just take it out? And in fact, you know, there's like a thing where they try to trip him up by scrambling his vision. Why does he still have the thing in there? Is it illegal to take it out? Does everybody have to have this? Yeah, I don't know. It just seems crazy that you can't not pay for something and you have to be subscribed to it. But then again, so many things are subscription-based. This may be the hell that we're in for in the future. Whatever. Anyway, if you guys want a more in-depth look at the comic, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. We'll take a little bit of a look at the story, a little bit of a look at the art. I won't be doing any major spoilers, but if you want to see a little bit more about the story, let's go and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Clear, number 1. They gave the number 1 a little tab-like thing at the top. Anyway, bring it closer to the camera. Dark Horse Comics in $4.99. Like I said, regular comics for a single issue run anywhere from $2.99 to $4.99 these days. But that being said, $4.99, but it is, I believe, the first 2 issues of the web series, so it's pretty thick, and this paper is a pretty good quality. I love holding a comic and not feeling like my fingers are going to smudge it, so good job, Dark Horse. We get the main character in front of the city, really bright, really pop, pretty cool. Little jacket zipper is just like a cutout shape, and the helmet I was talking about earlier, kinda silly but iconic, you know, whatever. Open it up, and we get to see the credits. Scott Snyder is the writer. Francis Manapul did the art and the colors, and yeah, digital painting, that's not as easy as people think. There's the rest of the credits, and we get this sort of almost blank page with this fun little picture down here. That's cool. But if we crack the comic open, we get to see San Francisco 2052, a bunch of flying cars, and a woman walking in the rain, and she starts to tell this story, a joke that a kid told her once, and it's a really long joke that doesn't have a great punchline, but it ties into the plot of the comic. So anyway, she jumps off the bridge, I'm not super Golden Gate Bridge, that's the one in San Francisco. I'm not a big city guy. But anyway, as she jumps, we see that the world around her starts to change. Here's a kid's cartoon. There's a noir city. Honestly, though, just being a black and white city, I almost didn't notice that this was a fantasy setting. Needed to have something fantastical here. And then the last one, that's the most obvious, a dragon there. So she jumps off the tower while seeing all these different fantasies. And then we cut to our main character. He is this detective on the bike watching these gangsters. They're going to make a deal for an illegal veil, and he explains to us what a veil is. And he shows all these people, and these are what they're seeing. You know, if you want to, you can live in the 80s. If you want to, you can live in zombies. You know, and a bunch of different stuff, and everybody's so depressed, they're all using augmented reality to see what they want to see. He gets the photos he needs, but one of the gangsters sneaks up behind him and stabs him with something. They start to get away, and even though he has all the proof he needs, and he says as much, he starts to chase after them. When he starts to hallucinate, we can see, like, the side of the car turns into a wagon wheel. There's a plane that isn't there. The top of the building turns into like an Arabian Nights, like Aladdin building. And yeah, so it's starting to all change around him. And he explains that it is a Zad, where you can kind of scramble people's veils and start to make them, like, you know, cycle through too many things and it's hard to pay attention. Here they are, and here they are as wolves. Here they are as Pinocchio, I guess, and then he's pulling them out like it's in the Old West. So it's kind of, you know, a cool scrambly thing, you know, is that a car or a charging rhinoceros? So yeah, that's a pretty fun concept, seeing it in that moment. When the chase is over, his friend on the police force comes, and that's when he finds out that his wife, who he hasn't seen in a long time, I think it's a case of separated but not technically divorced, turns out she's dead, and now he's feeling sad, and they think it's a suicide, but he, of course, is going to suspect that it's murder. He gets back to the apartment, and there's, of course, a beautiful woman waiting for him, and that's going to be the wife of the gangster, who actually is the one that hired him. And it turns out what the gangster was wanting with his illegal veil was to turn the wife into someone else in his head, essentially cheat on her with a veiled version of herself, which is an interesting concept. And of course, before she leaves, there's a box that just arrived via a messenger, and what's going to be in the box? Well, I won't spoil that for you, but like I said, there are 2 issues in here. We can see the cover where the next issue starts, and I won't go terribly far into the next issue, but I do like we get this flashback to the start of World War III, and it has a few interesting things about politics and how the war might break out, which I thought was a better section. And we also get following the mystery to where his wife worked, and I think issue 2, it does get better. You know, issue 1 has to be this fun chase and stuff, but when you're actually digging more into the mystery, I did notice that's when the book got better. It was about the plot and not just the gimmicky atmosphere. So overall, yeah, it relies too hard on obvious inspirations, but it's not bad, you know. It's just, I guess, cranky me going, this is just Blade Runner mixed with Spider-Verse and Ready Player One, but, you know, it's still a fun enough mystery, and I don't know, I'll probably check out the rest of it. I think these things they're double issues, and they ran for 6 issues on Comixology, so I think there's only 3 of them, or at least that's the way Night of the Ghoul was. So it's not a huge commitment, so I don't know, I'll probably pick up the rest of these. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you, you really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my sci-fi comics playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about more science fiction comics, I've actually reviewed some of the official Blade Runner comics, as well as some Alien and Predator stuff, and a few other things unrelated to big series. But if you guys want to see more sci-fi comics, on the bottom. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Sci-fi comics playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.